So I've been working on this entire sink for my shop, including the base, but this video is going to focus on how I built this concrete vessel sink. But I kept my base, and then I'm going to screw these on as a form. I should have mentioned I chose to use melamine, as that it's got a smooth surface already. It's conducive for a nice clean release. Once you pour your concrete in it, you can wipe a little mineral spirits on it and you're going to get a nice release. It is particle board, so you'll want to pre-drill it before you screw it together so that you don't blow it out with the screws. Okay, so I've got the start of the mold. I'm going to use black silicone in the edges, and I'm going to build a mold for the inside of the sink out of foam that goes in there. Right, so I got all these insulation foam boards cut, and I'm going to use contact, like a spray on adhesive, and I'm going to connect them all and stack them up, and then I'm going to carve the sink the way I want it. Okay, so now that is 6 inches deep. My whole vessel sink is going to be 5.5, and so I've just got to shave off some bulk, but I've got to do it in a way that I can set up this drain properly. It's to be centered left and right. The center of the hole needs to be 4 inches from the front and 7 from the back, and so I'm going to get that lined out up here. So next I got to start shaping this. Okay, so now what I got to do is I got to follow this line with the front of the blade, and I got to follow this line with the back of it. Alright, so that sort of worked. So I'm going to try sanding this and just finishing up the shape that I want. So now I'm going to do the edges by hand. I'm going to use the same pad because it's been working. Cover this thing with drywall mud. This is all dried up good. I'm gonna sand it flat, get it all nice and pretty. So it's not perfect. I was thinking about putting another coat on, but I honestly think that it's not gonna get that much better. I mean, there's a few little imperfections in it, but it's gonna be a concrete sink. I think I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna start epoxying this thing and fill in all those gaps, get it all nice and pretty and ready to go. I'm using this. It's Fama wood glaze coat epoxy. Pretty versatile product. I've never used it before, but first time for everything. Let's figure this out. I should mention that you can see underneath this form that I'm epoxying, I've got a board that is smaller than the edge of it, and that is to keep it, because it's going to drip off. And what I wanted to avoid was keeping it from gluing itself down as that epoxy setup. I let this dry overnight, and it's set up nice. Definitely needs a new one more coat though. All right, here's it's all cured out. I did it overnight plus a little bit, and it's got all these drips on there, so I'm gonna just grind those off. When I glue it into the box, I'll still be able to silicone that edge and make a nice seal so that the concrete won't come in. So the box, I'm trying to get it angled in there so that I can get it, and the box is just kind of in the way. It doesn't let me get the nozzle, so I'm gonna have to get creative. So I found a little piece of rubber hose. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I'm gonna try, because I can then flex it into place. This is the drain that I'm going to be using, and I realized that I've got to figure out how to create that mold for that drain and make sure that it's in the right spot. Me and my buddy Kevin here. Kevin's my little helper. Say hi, Kev. Say hey, bud. We're gonna get it all figured out, huh, bud? We're gonna get it all figured out, oh, good guy. You see that plastic? It's kind of in the right shape, but it's in two parts. And so I pulled that thing out, but that actually could be a good little form for what I'm doing. This is actually the packaging that the drain came in from Lowe's, and I just thought that the size was perfect, so I just cut it out and then taped it together over top of the drain so that it held its perfect form. All right, I've got that drain set into place. It's all siliconed in. And tomorrow morning I'm going to come in and clean this all up after that silicone's dried, and I'm going to wipe it all down with mineral spirits and get it ready to pour. Wipe this thing down with mineral spirits one more time. And again, the reason I'm doing this is just to give it a good clean release from the mold, so that the concrete doesn't get marred up when it's trying to release. I don't want it in there so thick that it mixes in with the concrete. I just want a nice light film. What is it? Quikrete commercial grade countertop mix. From everything that I researched, it seemed like the stuff that you want, or at least it'll work. This is a pigment. I have no idea what color that concrete is. If it's super light, I might want to darken it up, so I got this dye. I'll kind of figure that out once it's in the bucket and mixed. If I need to put some dye in, I will. Oh, I think I just smoked my drill. Well, that's wonderful. All right, I'm gonna do this in a wheelbarrow. As you can see, this is a little bit dry. I didn't realize it until I had mixed up the second batch, but it did cause a couple little issues. I had some air pockets that had a hard time coming out, so if you're going to do this project, mix it a little bit wetter.
Can you pour water on it?
This is about what that you want, that consistency. You want it to kind of roll out like it's trying to settle itself when it comes out. So try and shoot for this consistency. But it's been 24 hours, and I feel like it's to the point where I can take the mold off. I wanted to strip these forms off at about 24 hours because that's when it's at 2,000 strength. After 72 hours, it shoots clear up to 6,000. So I wanted to strip these off while I could still fix some issues if I needed to. Oh, that's nice. Whoa, this could be a heavy zinc. Hey. Thing turned off. Man, that's got a nice finish in there. Just pulled the metal part out that I'm going to use for the drain. I'm going to set that to the side because I don't want it to get messed up. I was so eager to get working on this thing, I forgot to start recording. So I set the, I've got the vessel sink set into place, and then I've got a cup. I thought it would look kind of cool if I put the this little backing plate that matches the front of it, and it's cut to length, and I'm going to use it so that it's kind of like a backsplash. It's something for the concrete to sit up against, and I've just got to weld that in place from the back. Okay, you can see the back of this thing. It's nice and flat, straight up and down. And I'm just going to get it tacked into place to start with, and then just short little welds. All right, I'm gonna call that good enough, and I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, so there's the finished product of the sink and the vanity that it's gonna sit on. I think that's gonna look pretty darn nice.